Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to the introduction to my mini occult baby challenge. In this part, I'm going to go over the goals and rules for the gameplay element. There was also a build and a create a sim element that essentially ended in the sims, and builds should be on the gallery, so I will be showing them. I will also go over what the requirements for those were while I'm showing them. And if you are just hearing about this for the first time, feel free to provide your sims and builds too, and just let me know in a comment below or in any of my social media, on my Facebook group, which is what this challenge came out of. My Discord or Twitter are good places, or commenting down below. So, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my main sim that I'm going to be using for the challenge. So first off, this challenge came to be because someone suggested we do a group challenge in my Facebook group, Sim Sanctuary. And so I did a poll to ask what people wanted to do. And it was, about half the people wanted to do a gameplay challenge. But of the other half, it was pretty evenly split between build and create a sim. And then I had some suggestions for what the gameplay should look like. And someone said, oh, do 100 baby challenge, which for me is too long, and I wasn't going to do that. I don't have time for that. And then someone else suggested, well, why don't we play with occults that you're not, commonly playing with? So, like, I always play with spellcasters. I don't play with the other occults that much. So do something based on that. So I came up with the idea of doing a bit of a mashup where we have our non-occult sim, in my case, Ella, who is going to try and have babies with occult sims. And then, of course, there'll be some goals for the kids, similar to 100 baby, before they can age up to the various, next life stage, and before you can move them out of the house. And along with that, as I said, we're going to create some sims and do a build for, the baby house, essentially. So for the actual more detailed goals, you start with your sim, and then your goal is to try and have essentially at least one of each type of occult that you have in your game. Assuming that you have all the packs with occults, it would be 4. If you don't have all the occults, or perhaps you really don't like to play with certain occults, then you would just use the ones that you have, but you still want to make it up to 4. So if you only have 2 occults, you would want to try and have 2 of each type of occult twice. So 4 still, resulting from the pregnancies. And so if you had an occult and you had twins and they both ended up being, say, vampires, that doesn't count. It's the pregnancy that counts. So you still have to have another pregnancy that also results in a vampire baby, as an example. So to sort of make it, there's like a shorter version and what could be a longer version. So you have to either have 6 pregnancies with occult sims in your game. And then obviously if your first pregnancy was with a vampire and you had a vampire, then you would move on to someone else. And if you, say, with the spellcaster didn't have a spellcaster baby, then you would try again with a different spellcaster, because all the baby daddies, will just say, for it have to be different sims, similar to 100 baby challenge. So, or the other way you could do it, which could be longer, is that you have 3 attempts per occult, being that you have 4 occults in your game. And again, the proviso, if you only have 2 occults, then you would have 3 attempts, and then you would have another 3 attempts for the same, up to 6 for that occult, because you only have the 2. And that's based on the fact that there's 4 occults in the game right now. And I'll go over what counts as an occult shortly. Again, similar to 100 baby, your sim will have to have a different partner for each pregnancy. In addition to step 1, your sim, i.e., the 6 pregnancies or the attempts, 3 up to 3 per each type of occult, you're going to have 1 final pregnancy. And before you have the final pregnancy, at that point, if you like to play with occults, you can have your sim become the occult that you like, other than alien, because you can't become an alien. So with Ella, I will have her become a spellcaster. I think that's what I'm intending to do, but we'll see how it plays out, because the game throws things your way and things may change. So for the final pregnancy, you could have your choice of having a baby with Father Winter, which comes with seasons, an Island Elemental, which comes with Island Living, And you would need to have a sim in the household with the child of the island trait to call the elementals to you. It does not have to be your sim. It could be a child that they have or any actual townie. So if you don't have those packs or you just don't like playing with that type of thing, then just a townie. And a townie means the sims that actually come pre-stocked with the game, as opposed to the random sims that are generated. So i.e. the Mortimer Goss, the Jeffrey Landgrabs, Don Lothario, or any of the ones that come with packs. So like Knox Greenberg that comes with Eco Lifestyle. I'm not saying it has to be them. It can be any of that type of sim, and you can choose. It's not a sim that you put into your game in this case. It's a sim that comes with the game. If you're happening to do this in a save that's like generations long, see if you can find a descendant of them. If you really can't, then just put a sim in the game, or grab them from the gallery and stick them in your game and try that way. That's another way to do it if they've already died off. So now, as a information, the occult offspring possibilities at the time of writing this challenge, which is late January 2022, and this is if you have the required packs, are you can have an alien, or more likely an alien hybrid. My understanding is that alien hybrids are what you get when you have a regular sim and an alien sim, and that full aliens only come from abduction, and without mods, that would be a male sim being abducted. It doesn't matter about whether they can get pregnant or get others pregnant. It's the actual gender that matters. Or if you have two aliens. And that was per Carl Sim's site, which I don't know how old it is. I'm thinking that's based on the coding. There have been some things I'm seeing recently that people are saying that female sims can get pregnant without MCC or without mods. And even like people who have MCC don't have it set for females to get pregnant, but they're coming back pregnant. But what I'm hearing is that the common denominator is that they have mods in their game, and that this is not being seen from abduction in an unmodded game. But, you never know. Odds are you're going to have an alien hybrid that's going to count for the talent. That's what matters. That's all that matters. And then obviously Vampire from Vampire's Pack, Mermaid from Island Living, and Spellcaster from Realm of Magic. So if you want to know when your baby is born, whether it's a vampire or a spellcaster, don't have any bassinets on your lot, and then the game will generate the spellcaster bassinet or the vampire bassinet, and then you will know that your baby is a spellcaster or a vampire before they age up to a toddler. Otherwise, you'll find out when they age up to a toddler whether they are a that type. There is no special bassinet for mermaids, and for alien hybrids there is not one either. Only full aliens have the special bassinet, or that's what my experience has been. It's been a long time since I've had a hybrid, because usually I only have aliens from abduction, and I don't have hybrids in my game, not since shortly after Get to Work came out, which at that point I did have them. An alien hybrid essentially is a sim that has different hair, like color skin, like essentially the parents, I'm guessing, color skin, because I can't remember. And they don't have any alien powers, but they do have a few alien special dialogues that they can do, which I'm guessing appears at the earliest of the child's stage. Now, some optional added challenges for your sim who is doing this challenge is that they have to give each child who moves out starting funds of 20,000. Optional, you don't have to do that, you can just move them out. Or you could start your sim, and or you could start your sim with nothing. So no simoleons on an inexpensive empty lot, which is what I've done with my sim here. And I'm hoping, my goal will be to give the kids moving out 20,000 each. That might be a bit much, but we shall see. For the children, they have certain goals too. Babies, I will have to add this to my blog post, but they can't age up until essentially 2 sim days has passed, till you get, if you were playing on a normal lifespan, the notification that they are gonna, that it's their birthday. At a minimum, keep them a baby for 24 hours, because it can be hard to track depending on what type of lot you're on and whatnot. As a toddler, at a minimum, they have to reach the happy toddler stage, which is level 3 of all skills. They also have to get the potty skill to level 3 before they age up. As a child, they have to complete the creativity aspiration, and there's a reason for that. They have to become an A student, and they have to have learned to say sorry from their parent, i.e. conflict resolution has to be in a range to earn. And then from that creativity aspiration, you need to keep one of each of the 5 different pictures that they did. That would be animal, monster, people, shapes, and vehicles, and line them up on the wall. And at the end, when your kids are all, when the challenge is done, get a screenshot of all of the pictures that you have, because I'm really curious about the different pictures, how many pictures we can get in total from this. That's essentially the collection of the challenge that we're doing. And then as a teen, they have to become an A high school student. They have to learn at least 2 more positive character values for 3 in total. And at this point, you can move the teen out, or you can just age them up to a young adult. Or I should probably say you age them up to a young adult, but if you don't want to age them up to a young adult, as long as they meet the requirements of being, those goals, you can move them out as a teen. That's what I'm planning on doing, because for me, these aren't enough goals, and I like my Sims to have done more than that. And so I want to keep them as teens, and I might go on and play them another time, some other way. Just kind of my preference, but you can do whichever of the 2. And other than that, there are no rules. And for an example, because people are going to ask what the rules, your aging can be wherever you want. It can be long, short, off, normal, your call. You can hire any service providers, including nannies. You can use a randomizer for traits or not. If you use a randomizer for traits, you can use the in-game one, or you can use like the legacy one, or whatever one you find online that you want to use. I'm just saying I have a link to the Sim Legacy Trait Randomizer. That's all at once if you're interested. If your Sim has a job, that's up to you. It might be harder if they have a job, but still up to you. And you can do the start with no money like I'm planning on doing. You can have the starting money, or you don't have to worry about money and just use cheats for money. Again, up to you. And lot traits and lot challenges, you can choose them, you can change them. So a lot of the stuff with the 100 baby challenge, out the window, because I don't like a lot of that stuff, and I want to make you, like, it's a personal thing that you can do what you want and have fun with this challenge. The goal is to try and get those occult babies, and then for fun, try and have like either a Father Winter or an Island Elemental, and if you don't have those, like a regular baby. And you can use whatever type of lot you want, regular, micro, or haunted house. So the challenge ends when the last child or children, if you happen to have twins, meet the requirements to age up to a young adult. So essentially, you don't end it like 100 baby when the baby is born, because we're having less babies. You have to age up. You have to get the last one ready to age up, meeting the same parameters that everybody else did. Okay, so that's kind of it for the actual gameplay portion. It's meant to be fun and meant to try and explore, playing with different occults that you're not used to playing with. Now, for the Create a Sim, there were 2 possibilities. Because you don't have to do any of, like, if you're just a gameplay person, there are Sims on the gallery from people who have created the Sims that if you want to play with someone else's Sim, you can do that. If you want to, even though everybody who is in the group for the most part has already put their Sims and their builds on the gallery, you can still do that now. So the goal was to create a non-occult Sim who will be able to have babies. So I am starting with a female, but it can be a male who has the ability to get pregnant. Your choice. And in a separate household, create some occult Sims that can impregnate others, because of course they live not with your Sims, your Sim. The only ones in your household are going to be your Sim and the children. If you want to get a pet, you can. Just takes up a slot. But honestly, if you want to use MCCC, I don't really care either. Again, it's up to you. Like to increase your household size. Just remembering that obviously don't go into Create a Sim because you can lose the extra kids. In a separate household, you can create some occult Sims that can impregnate others. And some of them, like I put it all in one household, and others put them up individually, which the advantage is if you don't have certain packs, you can just pick and choose which ones you want. I just put mine all up together. And then as an added optional challenge, the occult Sims would only be made with base game and the pack the occult is from, and then your actual non-occult Sim, if you do them, should be base game plus pack of your choice. Again, optional, but one thing that was not optional is that the Sims you upload were supposed to have one outfit per all the categories. So you're not just doing your main outfit, you're supposed to do all the outfit categories so that they come ready to go in someone's game and they don't have to go and dress them in the cold weather and hot weather and all that stuff. That was the main thing. And no CC for the one shared to the gallery for everybody to use, because we have console players who cannot see CC creations, so they can't download them in the game. I know that if you're if you're on computer, you can see the advanced options and you can see them, and when you download it, obviously, just like packs you don't have, you just don't get the custom content. But console players can't see it at all. And you would have seen in the background what was provided. And I will have the list of like the gallery IDs in the description below, and I will try and put that on my blog post, which has all of these details, and show it there too. So if you want to go look for those, in addition to the hashtag, which I'll put up on the screen, I think it was mini occult baby challenge, I think was what the hashtag was. You can look that up too. So for the build challenge, you had to create a starter home, and again, they'll be showing in the background. And the challenge criteria for the home, so there were some optional ones and some mandatory ones, is that essentially you're doing a starter home. And so the premise for that is that you're going to say the lot value is 2,000. You can have 1,500, or you can have start higher than that. But we're going to say the average was, of a starter home was 2,000. So that the value of the home on the gallery could only be 18,000 or less. But that meant when you were building it, assuming you're on a lot that was worth 2,000, you could go to 20,000 for the value. But that 2,000, if that was the lot value, gets stripped away. So you need to know the value of your lot when you're building, so that you know what the value going on the gallery was. I actually have a blog post on the cost of empty lots for the base game worlds, and that's linked. The blog post itself is linked in my detail rules for this challenge in the section for the build. It had to include items for toddlers, so at a minimum you needed one toddler bed, one potty, you needed blocks, a bookshelf, and a teddy bear. And you had to include items for the child creativity aspiration, which had to be one creativity table, one instrument, and a toy box, which obviously the toddler could also use. And then as an optional added challenge, if you wanted, you had to make it a limited pack build. And limited pack build in this case meant base game plus up to one of each type of pack. So stuff game, and expansion pack. So the 3 types of packs, but it did not include kits. So no kits, because they're not people are less likely to have kits. And then the idea is to get it so that more people could actually use them in the furniture and decoration. And you could either pick your own packs, or you could use a randomizer game, whatever you find fun. And there was an exception to the limited packs if you're doing the limited packs. So, say I used cottage living, and I wanted to add a thermostat which came with seasons. Well, you can add something from another pack that's a functional item that, if it gets removed, doesn't remove anything that was needed if someone didn't have the seasons pack. But for an example, you would not use like the activity table from seasons if your pack you used was a different pack, because you need to use, base game, or if the pack you used had a coloring and activity table for kids, you would just, if you probably understand, like, so if you wanted to add patchy, it just takes it away and it doesn't replace something you needed. So anything you needed had to be in the packs that you were playing with, as opposed to extra stuff. Personally, I didn't end up using anything from the other packs because I only had so much money. I didn't waste on a thermostat or anything like that. So that was kind of it for the overall rules of the challenge. And I tried to go over it really quickly. So if you have any questions, you can ask down below, or you can, like I said, ask on my Discord, or, come join my Facebook group if you're not already there and ask there. You can ask on the blog post. I have a harder time responding to those, but so it might take me longer to get back because I can only respond really on computer. I have some glitching issue when I try and do it from mobile, which is where I generally tend to be, unless I'm like recording or editing a lot of times. So now I said I was going to introduce my sim. My sim is Ella Milligan. So I actually created Ella as a young adult, and then I aged her down to a child, and I gave her a mom, and I raised her so as a child. She got all her childhood aspirations done. She got her scout completed, so she has the scouting trait, and she, I believe, has all 5 character values that you get when you age up when they were positive. She does not have, and she has I think she has incredibly friendly and observant, because I got her to help her with getting the social aspiration done. But then I had her buy potions and leave them with her mother, her family, so that she has very few actual extra points at this point. And she has very few skills because she spent like, I think, 2 sim days as a teen, mainly because there was a holiday. And then there was 1 day for her to get to an A high school student. So she was an A high school student, which I'm not really planning on having her take a job that has any impact on anyways. It was more of after the challenge I wanted to use her for something else that those things could be helpful for. She has very few skills, but I think her video gaming was a bit higher because she needed it to be able to become an A high school student. Except for she autonomously played the violin and chess, so she got a little bit of that, and then I put the chess table away and I put the violin away so she couldn't use it anymore, because I really wanted her to be as low skilled as possible when she was starting out. So there she is. And the other thing is, I would have shown with everybody else's, I have my baby daddies that are on the gallery, but they also, the mermaid has a child son who is included with the family. And I also have a build on the gallery that I had placed them in my save, and then I had edited that build even more. The build was a build that was already on the gallery. I had renovated, and I can't remember the name, but I'll show it here again. A lot that's in Willow Creek, and I had played with it in my Jungle Adventures Let's Play, and not in Seasons. In Jungle Adventures, I think they had possibly already moved out. I can't remember, but I did have it in Jungle Adventures and a little bit of my RTC Parenthood Years Let's Play when I played with Mason, who is the dad of the alien that I have put in here. So Mason's not here, but Caden was Mason's son by abduction, so he was born in game. And he's the one of the Sims that's my Occult Sims on the gallery. And the house has been further updated to essentially accommodate an alien, a vampire, a spellcaster, and a mermaid, and his son. And that is also on the gallery, but it does not have a starter budget. But the family actually has a lot of money, because I made sure they had enough money to buy the house plus a little bit to spare. Because, you know, technically Caden came from a very, 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 very wealthy family. When I looked, when I was aging him up to get him out, they had like 7+ million, plus I know they had money in their vault. So they had enough money to spare but I just used cheats to give it back to them because I didn't really think about it. I gave them some money, but I didn't give them as much as that I would have. They obviously don't need it because they have so much money. But so they're on the gallery. She's on the gallery. My starter baby home is on the gallery, which is a micro lot. So if you're wanting to edit it, you have to like move walls as opposed to just like, you know, normal building to keep it that micro. And when I mean micro, it's like the micro tiny residential, so 32 square grids that is used. And I will eventually put a later version of the house that's like got more in it, because this is basic. There's like very, like, you know how I said those things that were needed? It also has like a small fridge, you know, a living room area and a bed and a bathroom kind of thing. That's it. So, because it was kind of big and it took some of the money was taken up in the walls and stuff. And in case I didn't mention it, the actual gameplay for this challenge is going to start tomorrow. So I'll be back with that. But that is going to be it for this video. Likes and comments are always appreciated, and they really help with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!